now that Liverpool haven't been at their best. They've come away with points, victories, and then the point today, and all of them. It can't go on too long, though, can it? No, but Lee and Graham talked before the game, both won titles, and said if you don't play well, don't lose. Liverpool haven't lost today. I'm sure when Manchester United side of things come out, they can talk positively about the game because for 85 minutes they were winning, could have gone on and certainly upset Liverpool and have stopped that unbeaten run. But in the quest of what both these clubs were after, it's a huge point for Liverpool. Could have lost. Last season, they lost the Premier League title by 1 point. That could be the difference for them of what they achieved today. It's amazing, 5 minutes from time, they get that goal because the conversation we would have been having, the two players would have been answering such different questions, entire perceptions would have changed had they not got that goal from Lallana. For sure, and especially in a second half where Manchester United were clearly trying to see out a result. I think they only had 23% of the ball in the second half, and there was always a threat that Manchester United could catch them on the counter again, like they did in the first. Substitutions helped. And I talked about the other guys not being trusted all that much. Shaqiri's hurt. Lallana comes on, gets the goal. Oxlade-Chamberlain was bright and brought some pace and some ingenuity to the midfield. Just it's a tough day because Mo Salah obviously makes them better, and you have to measure them up against Manchester City. Manchester City have had some disappointing results this year, but you know, 4 shots on goals, not really generating anything, is a concern because you know they're going to have to lose games because teams are a lot better than them today. And today, I do give a lot of the credit to Manchester United. This wasn't a terrible Liverpool performance. Manchester United came up with a massive performance when their managers under the watch. When Jurgen Klopp walked on the pitch at the end, Rebecca, over recent weeks we've seen him fist pumping and getting the crowd going. He blew out his cheeks today, as if to say, we'll take a point. And there's a 6-pointer coming November 10th. I mean, now it's a 6-point gap. So it's like that game now is all that much more important. It was the game last year in January that turned the tide. So this is a good point. They got to keep positive with it. Just very quickly, is coming back to get a point? People say if they come back and win, it's a sign of champions. Is coming back to get a point still a little sign that they have that champions quality? That was a mountain. There is a man mountain with the chaps pitchside at Old Trafford. Back to Arlo.
Hi, Rebecca. Yes, here we are with Virgil van Dijk. Virgil, thank you for joining us so soon after the end of what was a very, very tough game for you guys. What is the feeling in the dressing room after that 1-1 draw?
Disappointed. Yeah, obviously, I think the first half, they brought a lot of fight to the pitch. They put a lot of pressure on us at times. They had their proper game plan, and we didn't react too well on it. We didn't play our best game in the first half. And obviously, we played the second half. I think we can take a lot of positives of it. We changed our system, put them a lot on pressure, and yeah, obviously scored the well-deserved equaliser. But you know, unfortunately, we can't take the 3 points. What sort of a challenge does Marcus Rashford present for you as a defender? Well, yeah, everyone knows Marcus Rashford and the other strikers. You know, they're full of pace, keep running in channels. And you know that's their strength. That's how they play. You know, long balls in the channels and hope for the best. And I think today, you know, a couple of moments when it's dangerous. And obviously, when we want to press, when we want to put pressure on them, you know, we leave spaces in behind the zone, and you have to deal with it.
Just give us an indication when the team sheet comes in. You realise by the look of it they're going to play 3 at the back. How do the players adapt to that before the game? Do you have any idea they were going to play like that before?
To be fair, yes. We had the meeting in the hotel, and the manager was already saying that they're probably going to be playing with 5 in the back, and yeah, they did. So we were prepared. But obviously, we didn't play our good first half, and we should have done better.
And just from a point of view of knowing that they play counter-attacking as well, how important, if you could just explain to people, how important is that defensive line for you? How high you come up and how early you drop off? Because you are a master at that, just anticipating that distance. Yeah,
I think especially what they did was to get James and Rashford as wide as possible. And obviously that's not easy for 2 centre-backs to do, to organise that. And yeah, at times you have to be brave, you have to take risk as well and be alert. I think the first half we got moments that we did that well, but we could have done better.
Adam Lallana has been with this club for a long time, and you'll know as well as anybody that injury-wise he's suffered a lot recently. He's had to make do with coming off the bench and making substitute appearances. How big a moment is it for him in his career at Liverpool to produce a moment like that?
Massive. Adam is a fantastic player. we see it obviously in training every time, you know, he's on the pitch, and I'm just very pleased for him that he scored the goal, and yeah, hopefully he can stay fit, keep being important for the team, because, you know, we need everyone.
Virgil, you got the point. You're 6 points clear. We thank you for coming and joining us.
Thank you.
Speaking live to the United States, Virgil van Dijk. Rebecca, how about that? Back to you.
Thank you.
Lovely stuff. Thank you, Ola. United came into this one on the back of their worst start in 30 years. They came so close to changing the entire mood at Old Trafford, but Solskjaer's going to have to be happy with a point.
No, just turn round, pick out the back of your net and go, well done.
Don't embarrass yourself.
No.
That's as clean a hit as you will see. Much more like that on the way, and Andy Kerr is here to tell us about it. At the top of the hour, Andy, what have you got?
Thank you. Why would you loan a player like Radon and go out? It's a weekend of first in Italy. New coaches at Sampdoria, Milan. Who's ever seen this before? Parachutist landed on the field at the Sassuolo Inter game mid-match. No one seems to know quite why he landed on the field mid-match, but he did nonetheless. We'll be taking a look at AC Milan a little later on tonight. A new coach there, of course, Stefano Pioli, in Gianpaolo, sacked over the international break. That plus all the key goals in the top 5 European leagues. We start in, what, about 20 minutes' time, Richard?
Thank you, Andrew. And here is Liverpool's goal scorer today.
Adam, I make it 2.5 years since your last Liverpool goal. You couldn't have picked a better time to score.
Yeah, so it's a lot of time, and, you know, probably worth the wait in the end, I'd say. It's been better to get the 3 points, but just said there that come to Old Trafford and gain a point in that manner, you know, we'll leave probably, you know, we're definitely happier than United.
What was the message from the manager when you went on with 20 minutes or so to go?
I kind of knew the message, just make an impact, change the game. We were a little bit flat today. We weren't at our best. You know, going into the game, you could just feel that, you know, people were writing United off and expecting us to turn up and win 4-5, and that's just, you know, today's proven that that's never the case. That's a load of rubbish, really, and these games are always tough, derby. But yeah, a point gained, I feel. But, you know, we'll look back and we'll learn, because we need to be better than that if we're going to compete and win more games this season.
Do you think they frustrated you with their tactics as well, putting a lot of men behind the ball?
Yeah, listen, they changed their shape. They probably had a long time to work on it, and you know, they're Man United at the end of the day. They're a good team, a very good team, and like what I said, we weren't at our best today, but to still come here and gain a point, we'll take that.
Do you feel towards the end you could have won it?
Definitely, especially after the goal. You know, when I was on the pitch, I felt that we were dominating possession. Couple of half chances, penalty appeal. You know, I was saying to the lads when I went on, just be patient. We've still got time. We got the goal, and then, you know, they were up against it, and you know, we could have snuck 3 points there.
Can I just ask you about VAR as well? It's a big talking point at the moment. From a player's perspective, you've probably seen the replay of their goal. What was your take on it, and whether it was a foul on Divock or not?
I've not seen it back, but it just seems a bit messy at the minute. You know, I kind of laugh and joke with the lads that it's kind of similar to cricket in terms of the umpire's call. So whatever the on-field ref makes, it just kind of, you know, every time it just seems to stay with that, no matter the margin of the foul. So, you know, the refs kind of said to us when they come in and had our meeting that it's a work in progress. It's not going to be perfect. It's going to take a bit of time, and you know, I think we're seeing that.
Just finally, it's been a long 2.5 years for you with injury and frustration, I guess. This maybe makes it, well, at least easier to swallow what's been a difficult 2 years.
Yeah, it's been a tough couple of years. I know my boy at home would have been watching and been delighted when he's seen that going. So yeah, massive point for us, and nice to get on the score sheet.
Adam, well done. Top man. Thanks, pal.
Very good, Adam. Very diplomatic as well. Being sports Matt Critchley asking the questions. Just as you were talking there about, you see a look of champions about Liverpool. My mind went back to Blackburn's title success. Is there a similarity between the way you ground out a title and the way you think Liverpool might be at the minute?
Yeah, I think so. I think it was always staying in the game, even if you're behind. Believe that you're going to create chances. We had obviously a goal scorer in Alan Shearer who's like second to none, probably in the Premier League history. And we knew if we could create chances for him, we got the ball wide and we got the ball in the box. Very, very similar to this Liverpool side. We were industrious in the middle of the park. We didn't have the fantastic guile. We didn't have the Man City players who are so technical, but you don't have to win the league. Sometimes you need to fight it out, and we did, and we found different ways
your width
to win.
was Wilcox and Ripley, wasn't it? Rather than the fullbacks.
Yeah, our fullbacks stayed where they were pretty much. We were from a solid base, and everyone else just rotated. We scored goals from midfield. We were a little bit different. You know, we had goal scorers. Mark Atkins chipped in with about 14 goals that season. You know, I scored about 10. Yeah, so we had goals from midfield. We're not only reliant on one striker, a bit similar to Liverpool. Then you got 3 strikers who can score goals. We had that. We had Chris Sutton. You know, if we didn't have him, we had Kevin Gallagher, Mike Newell. You know, we had players who could score. The squad was thick, but we had men. And I think when I look through Liverpool's team, they got men in there. There's no boys. You know, no real boys who are learning their trade. They got men who know how to get the job done. Whatever the situation lends itself, they will turn and they will change their game to adapt.
So what happened on that last day at Liverpool when you even led after Shearer scored?
Yeah. Well, we led,
but lost.
Oh, we lost, but we can lose. In the end, it's over a large amount of games, and the winners get over the line.
What happened on that day? Where were you all?
What happened after?
Yeah, I think during the course of the game, you didn't seem to have the lungs to get the job done.
I think it was 1-1, and I think if you remember, I just talked him up massively. Alan Shearer, he had a chance at 1-1 in the 89th minute from 8 yards out, which normally we're all going back to the centre circle and kicking off again, and he smashed it over the bar. They went up the other end and they got a free kick. Jamie Redknapp bends it in the top corner. By that time, about 10 seconds after that, we knew we'd won the league because Man United
What was that 10 seconds like?
It was you know, it was almost like we can't do anything about this now. It was in our hands and now it's out of our hands, but we're reliant on West Ham to do us a favour against Man United down there at Upton Park.
How did you find out?
The crowd. I'll tell you why. All through the game, the Liverpool fans were winding us up, telling us all sorts of moody stories. But I remember looking across to Kenny Dalglish, and you guys know him as well as I do. He's the shrewdest man ever. No one pulls the wool over his eyes. And when I saw him crying, jumping around, I knew he had the correct information. No one was going to wind him up. He knew, and that feeling was just. We played 1 minute of the last game of the season, knowing we were champions. It's an incredible feeling, and for them Liverpool players, after 30 years of not winning, this is going to be an amazing. My hair standing up on the back of my neck even thinking about that for them, because the last party was at Anfield to win the Premier League was ours and not Liverpool's.
That's right. That's a very